Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Crystal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the last episode of 2023. Crystal, can you believe that we're at this point? It's about to be Christmas. It's about to be the new year. Like, this is crazy.
You know what? And a lot of people, we've mentioned it before. I don't know if we've mentioned it in any of the episodes that people have actually seen, but I know in our practice episodes we've mentioned it. But for us, we're coming up on the 1 year for when we first kind of brought this idea to life. Like we started gathering our materials, we started meeting up and talking about how it's going to look, what we're going to do. We started practicing. We're getting really close to that. I think in terms of actually like showing the people what we've been doing, it's been about 4 months, and it's just crazy how quickly it does not feel like 4 months, and it doesn't even really feel like we've been doing it for a year. Like,
Not at all. It's very crazy. I was thinking about it earlier today, and it was really an organic thing. I think it was like towards the end, like October, November last year, when I first started, talking about with my wife, like wanting to do something. I didn't know whether it was gonna be like streaming or a podcast or something. Um, but I thought, I needed some type of outlet, you know, and the conversation you and I hadn't even mentioned it to you before. But when you came to visit us, we were just sitting on the couch and we had that conversation organically one day. And, we were both like, let's do this. And then, like you said, I'm glad that we actually took our time to, get the equipment we wanted. We've obviously upgraded some things since the beginning of the podcast. If y'all saw last week's episode, that's actually a episode that we filmed,
mm-hmm.
I think it was back in May
Yeah.
of this year. A little peek behind the curtain, if y'all couldn't tell, but stuff looked a little different. And that's both through, Crystal giving me some advice on, how to make things look a little better, me finding videos and stuff, and us both taking the time to try to make it presentable to you all.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we can go a lot further with it, but these are incremental steps. So just seeing what we've done from January until now is crazy. And
Yes.
the response from our friends, family, and now people who actually follow the podcast, actually listen to the podcast, people we
Oh.
don't know, but seem to enjoy what we're doing is just amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a wild ride
I
these past
know.
couple months. We
Yeah.
just lost a podcast in September.
Mm-hmm.
So to be 4 months in and, really starting to see, how this thing is growing is really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so happy, and I'm kind of low key excited about like this time next year to see where we're at, see how
Yeah.
everything is. But I'm really looking forward to 2024, you know, seeing the things that we're going to do. I know there will be some hurdles that we're going to have to get through because hopefully,
Hmm.
work will start to pick back up here.
Hmm.
So, we're gonna have some challenges, but I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see us overcome those and just continue doing this. I really enjoy doing this. It's been a lot of fun for me.
Yeah. I think that's the best part for me is just that we really do this just because we have fun doing it,
Mm-hmm.
But there's no goal really for us
Yeah.
that we have in mind. We haven't discussed that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do we want this thing to do? What do we literally started out, we said it in the early episodes, we're just doing this because we be talking. And it's fun to
Mm-hmm.
have the conversations in front of people and to see how people react to them.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's my only goal, for people to get something out of it, even if y'all don't have to enjoy it. but as long as it sparks some type of conversation and we can spar in the comment section or agree with each other in the comment section, that's enough for me, to
Hmm.
be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So thank y'all, for listening through this year and for giving us our friends and stuff, for giving us feedback and stuff. It's really helped how we have shaped the episodes that we've gone along, and we hope you can see the progress that we made. But today's episode is the last episode, as I said, before the new year. We are going to take a break for Christmas and the New Year. Spend time. Look, Crystal got this set up. We had a pre-show meeting and I tried, but it was not happening. So hopefully that'll be something else that I work on so I can be as festive as Crystal. But today's episode is, I think, going to be kind of Christmas themed. It's still in the same vein of our, it's going to be a Reddit extravaganza today. We have some very, very good stories picked out for y'all, and I cannot wait to hear what Crystal has for us. But I'm looking forward to closing out this year with a really, really good episode. And we hope that you all enjoy just as much as we do. Even though you're going to be around the Christmas tree with your family and eating dinner and stuff, we still want y'all to comment, like, share everything on this episode over the Christmas break. So, Crystal, if you would do us the honors of getting us started.
Yes, and I will preface this by saying I am sorry if you hear my dogs and or my nephew in the background.
Mhm.
Like my nephew right now is like hurdling the dogs outside because they won't stop barking.
Mm. Oh,
Uh,
okay, okay.
yes.
That's
So
okay. The people understand. The people understand. They got dogs.
okay,
This is why I don't keep one in my house, but it's
and
just
we've
me.
got 3 right now.
I know, my goodness.
And they're like in like human years, they're like toddlers essentially. We've got a
Oh,
3. We've
oh
got a
my
3-year
God.
old. We've
Mm.
got one that's 1.5 maybe, and the other one is coming up on 5 months. So
You got 3 wily coyotes in your
yes,
home right now, plus an actual child. Oh my
actual
God.
child, exactly,
You,
exactly.
your house is about to be ripped off the foundation. God bless you.
Okay, so I'm I'm really excited to share some of these Reddit stories with you today. I actually have 2, so I'm going to start us and then I'm going to finish us.
Hmm.
So this first
I
one,
know. Ooh. you, you almost got somebody hot under the collar just now. I'm gonna start us and I'm gonna finish. I know that's right, Christy. You better let these people know.
and I knew you,
Ooh, anybody else got hot? Ooh, anybody?
I knew you weren't
Anybody
going to
else
let
got
it
hot?
go. I knew you weren't going to let that go.
You saw my face. You saw, and I almost did let it go, and then I was like, nope,
Cuz I
nope,
got I got
can't let it
to
go.
I got like a good 3 or 4 seconds away from it and then you were like, "Nope, we're going to bring that
If
back."
you're watching the video portion, you'll see the moment on my face where I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not letting it go.
Anyways,
Mhm.
as I was saying, this one is from the subreddit True Off My Chest. I really think that should say truth. Like it's kind of weird when it says true, but I don't know.
Actually, that does make a lot more sense. Truth off my chest rather than true off my chest.
Yeah, like I'm looking at this real hard to be like, am I not seeing the th? Like, is that really just
Right.
true?
Oh, hit.
But
They finna be on the TikTok talking about we can't read again.
I swear this says true. Okay. Anyway, so this one says cousin's gift ruined Christmas and possibly my relationship. Okay, so this says I come from a big family. Our holidays involve extended family like second cousins, etc. My fiance and I are in our mid 20s, and there are a lot of cousins in their 20s and 30s. Last night, we had our big Christmas party. It was fun to see everyone until it was time to exchange presents. My cousin Anna, not her real name, hands out pink envelopes to all the 20s and 30s men who have married slash dated into the family. My fiance received one and quickly put it in his pocket after opening it. I was distracted opening my gifts and didn't ask to look at it. About 20 minutes later, my cousin Rachel, again, not a real name, pulled me aside and says, Anna is giving out cards with instructions on how to get a discount subscription to her OnlyFans. Rachel's BF got one of the pink cards and showed Rachel because he was weirded out. I'm pissed at this point because I suspected my fiance's card also has an OnlyFans discount. So I asked to talk with him and he denies getting a card from Anna. I tell him, I saw her hand you one and I watched you put it in your pocket. I go to grab his pocket and he suddenly remembers getting a card but claims he didn't open it. I take it from him and of course it's already open and of course it's about fucking OnlyFans. I go back inside to confront Anna and find her already arguing with a different cousin who was upset because her husband has already tried looking at Anna's page. Anna claims she's just trying to get her business off the ground and no one appreciates all the hard work and skills it takes to be successful in a digital career. She says her gift is not sexual, it's just marketing. Some of the older relatives, aunts and uncles, are starting to take sides too, but they're mostly really confused about what's going on. Anna's mom started crying because of something I said, and my mom tried to get me to apologize, which pissed me off more. At this point, I leave with my brother and his husband because I don't want to spend the night with my fiance at home, and I don't feel like going with parents when my mom is pressuring me to apologize. Oh, and surprise, surprise, Anna didn't give my brother's husband a card. So make of that what you will about the intent behind her gift. I'm seriously considering calling off the engagements over this, and I'm pissed at my cousin for ruining both Christmas and my relationship.
She said her brother's husband.
Yes.
She didn't give the brother's. Okay.
No.
That's an important piece of information. Yes. Okay, I have a couple of hot takes. But number one, the first thing that came to my mind towards the end of the letter is, why is it always in these letters that the family always takes the side of the person that's wrong?
Yeah.
And wants the person who reacted to the person who's wrong to apologize. Like 9 times out of 10. Yeah. I don't understand that.
Because the vast majority of people will usually be like, no, OP, like, you don't let them people gaslight you. Don't let them do this. But again,
exactly,
we are hearing this one-sided. So, these stories could be painting. But I don't know. The context of some of these stories, I feel like there's just no way. You can't
there's
go
not
any other
much
way.
wiggle room.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, I'm not mad at homegirl with the OnlyFans.
I've said it before.
For trying to get her. For trying to get her. We've said it before. We're here for the OnlyFans girls. If you have an OnlyFans and you want us to sponsor you, if you want to sponsor our show with ads for your OnlyFans, drop us a link, baby.
That's our goal.
Give me a couple. I almost said something that's about to get me in trouble. I was about to get kicked out of my house.
That's the Tea and Crystal podcast New Year's resolution of 2024.
Okay, to get some
sponsorship.
Exactly. I'll listen. Anyway, she did ass wrong for that. She did ass wrong, and the fact that she specifically, I mean, shout out to her for not giving it to her blood cousins, because you would have been a nasty bitch for that. You would have been a nasty low down somebody for that. But why didn't you give it to the girlfriends in the family or the wives in the family? If you really trying to get your business up off the ground, you don't know what these ladies into. Maybe they want to see, you bust that thing wide open, or, give it spread eagle.
Mm-hmm. Because
maybe they want to see how your shit made up.
Women, we it's been the decade of trying to support each other. We're trying to stop pitting each other against each other. So you don't know. If you had gone about this differently, if you had been like, hey, cousins, I'm trying to get this thing off the ground. I got discounts. I want to give them to everybody.
Yep. And now you done put your male cousins in a precarious situation, because now they got to go to all the men who did get them and beg for them. they gotta go beg for the code without the family knowing.
Yeah.
Because they nasty. They're nasty. Men are nasty. Yeah, she trifling for this. I don't understand why she chose her family function. Why not the work potluck? Why not start there? Why not go out to a park and just hand them out to random men? There's a lot of horny, lonely men out there at parks, I assume. So why not go to the bar and start handing them out there? Like, there are a lot of other places that are more appropriate than your family's Christmas party, targeting married and uh men who are in relationships with your family. I think
Yeah.
that's weird. I don't know where you get off boomps doing something like I don't know where you get off doing something like that. But I would like to see. Listen,
Nina's gonna watch this episode.
and you know what? Let me shut my ass up because a couple weeks from now I'm in trouble. But if y'all got the code somewhere, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, she dead ass wrong for that. Like there's no redeeming. I'm trying to find a way to defend her, but I can't.
See,
I cannot.
I'll give it this. On the flip side, ladies, this is, because there's a lot of ladies out there who low key want to test their man, but when your man finds out you are testing them intentionally, they really get mad about it. They get upset about it. So, like, this was kind of a low tier test without you having to say, put your name on that. And, some of them passed. Rachel's boyfriend, he was like, yo, this is weird. Like, your cousin just gave this to me. Like, she was like, oh, I know her and her man do not have any problems right now. But OP and her fiance, and the one that was already looking at the page.
Like, you couldn't even wait till you got to the car. You could have took a smoke break and went out and sat in the car, and you know what I'm saying? But the original poster, that's something I did mean to say. You need to leave that man.
Yeah.
If he's doing this type of lying over something like this, he will lie to you about anything, baby. And he has been lying to you. Like, this is a maroon flag. Like, that's crazy. Like, come on. How dumb do you have to be to think that this isn't going to get around to the other female family members?
Right.
And then it's going to come back to you. And you're still you couldn't even get out the house without lying. If he would have got out the house and been able to secure that card somewhere where she couldn't have found it ever, then you can lie.
Yeah.
Then you got some foundation for your lie, because she'll never find it. So she'll never know. You could just say, oh, she ain't gonna go ask her trifling ass cousin. You know what I'm saying? She already mad at her. And her cousin probably ain't gonna admit to it. So, boy, you in the clear. But the fact that you in the house, not 20 minutes after the initial incident, and you gonna lie to this lady face and then get found out to be lying, she should have broke up with his ass that night. She should have broke up with him that night.
Well, considering the fact that she didn't even go home with him, I'm pretty sure, and she's writing this, like, I'll be real surprised if they end up still getting married, because this I need that TikTok guy, the red flag guy, whatever his handle is. I need him stitched into this podcast, just going red flag, red flag, red flag. Because, honey,
but you know what? For the men to be acting like this, that cousin must have been fine as hell. Like, she must have been the catch of the family, because these men are going above and beyond. They are going above and beyond to be able to see this OnlyFans. Because I got some of I was about to say something very.
We're gonna leave it there.
Ooh, Crystal, I got too comfortable for a second. Wow, I was really. Yeah, we're gonna leave that there. I really almost got canceled. Wow, I was y'all. But yeah, God bless this lady. And I really hope that her OnlyFans does well enough to, where she has disposable income enough to promote here on the Tea and Crystals podcast. Because I would love to contribute to a small business. I really would.
Honestly, and female entrepreneurship, we love it. I will say I
We
did have
sure do.
some comments on the actual article that I found this story from.
Hmm.
So because it's not from our comment section, I'm not going to name the people who said these comments. But one person said, "I love the idea of having a viewing party for all the women in the family, especially the older ones and the ones whose husbands and BFs got the OF discount cards. Serve tea, scones, tea sandwiches, and desserts, and then finish with the cousin who's as far from a class act as she can be. You may want to have something stronger to serve afterwards." Someone replied, "They should have pulled it up on a phone and cast it to the big screen so everyone could see how not sexual it is. Anyone defending her has no idea what the site actually is." And then someone else replied to that and said, "Yep, should have done it immediately on Christmas Day in the middle of the family gathering."
That is perfect, actually. If she wanted, I mean, that's what she wants. She wants them to see it. So why would you be afraid, to show everybody what you've been up to? No, no, don't do that don't do that to the elders of the family, because people be talking about, around Christmas time they got that uncle who always been a little weird. You know what I'm saying? So he might actually, this might be right up his goddamn. He been waiting for this since, you know.
Yeah, that or the
So this is actually
mhm,
a very bad idea.
very bad idea.
Absolutely
I
not.
agree with you on that one.
Mm-mm.
I didn't even think because there's always one
Yeah,
in a big family. In a big family,
there's always
there's
that
always
one
one.
creepy ass uncle who a little too
It's either
comfortable.
the uncle or it's like a grandfather or something like that. But they're
Oh, if grandpa is now,
look
I
really.
ain't heard of grandpa being,
I feel like it's
no, I
always
always heard of
one or
uncle.
the other. It's always one or the
What?
other.
No,
Hmm.
a grandpa, he can get his old ass whooped. Okay. Look here, old man, because you ain't going far. We finna beat this about you. You ain't finna get away with that. It's finna be elder abuse in this house. Call
Mm.
CPS or whoever take it. No, who ain't it? What would it be? Not CPS. EPS?
Elder.
Elder Protection Services? EPS?
I mean,
Yeah, y'all better call EPS. Because grandpa finna get curb stomped in here today.
yeah.
We kicking his wheelchair out from under him. We taking the tennis balls off his walker. Like we finna fuck him up.
But yeah,
Okay.
so in the future, ladies, if you want to promote your OF, and more power to you, maybe just not at the family function where,
Maybe not.
especially if you don't let the wives know ahead of time, the wives and girlfriends, because yeah, you're gonna be the cause of some fights.
Mm-hmm.
You might be, they say don't blame the woman, it's the man's fault, and that's true, but also low key it would be you too, because
The more I think, I'm sorry, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about it. But the more I think about it, the more genius it is actually, because if the men go back to their prospective male friend
mm-hmm,
groups and be like, y'all won't believe what happened at my girl's family function.
mm-hmm.
Her fine ass cousin got OnlyFans and gave me a free 3-month subscription
Right.
with the code XJ52K.
Yes.
Enjoy, fellas. And then
Yeah.
now she got, come on, and now it's populating. Now they're
Mm-hmm.
sharing if the content is good, if the subscription, is low. This is you might be on to something, young lady. You might be on, ladies of OnlyFans. This Christmas may be the Christmas to ruin your family for a check. this, this may, tis the season to ruin your family for a check. I'm I
Mm.
might be on. You know what? The cousin who gave out the letters, not the asshole. After all,
This isn't that
I
kind of
was,
story. You don't get to
oh
judge,
damn,
not the asshole or not.
you right, you right. Damn. Well, speaking of not being an asshole, I have a story where you get to judge if
Ooh.
somebody is the asshole. That would be from the Reddit subreddit r/am I the asshole, and I'm very excited to share the story with you all.
Okay.
It is another Christmas themed Reddit story. So this one is entitled "Am I the asshole for uninviting my oldest daughter to Christmas over Santa?" Just for the record, I do believe in Santa. I, 43-year-old female, have children with very large age gaps. My oldest is 25 that I had with a high school ex. Then we separated and I got married to my husband much later. My younger two are 9 and 7. Keep that in mind. My younger children believe in Santa while my daughter's son doesn't. She raised him not with the Santa magic, which is perfectly okay. I'd just rather not ruin it for my children who do believe in Santa Claus. I'm with you, ma'am, because I too believe in Santa. How else do these gifts get under the tree? I was having Christmas at my house and I asked my daughter if she would please talk to her son because I wouldn't like the magic to be ruined for my children, her younger children. I still put packages under the tree with "From Santa" on them and leave out cookies and reindeer treats, bird seeds. My daughter told us she wouldn't make her son lie, and my children are old enough to understand if her son decides to say something. I told her if she wouldn't talk to her son, they could spend Christmas at their apartment. I know that's right. My daughter didn't like that, and she said I was choosing my younger children's happiness over hers and that I was being completely unreasonable. My husband supports me in this, but thinks I might be a little high strung as our children are getting older. I just want to keep the Christmas magic alive. Am I the asshole?
No, no, not at all. Because while it's true that they are getting older and they are getting to that age, especially the 9-year-old, why do you want to speed up them having to lose the magic? Like, why do you get to dictate when that magic is lost? That 9-year-old could have another year, at least where they get to believe in that Christmas magic. And that 7-year-old definitely has at least a few more years. Like, you don't have to, it's not like they get to an age and it's like, okay, now you can know the truth. Like, they're going to find it out eventually, usually through school and stuff like that. But why do you
Hmm.
specifically have to try to ruin that? Like, what is it to you to say, hey, your cousins, her son is their cousins, right? Because she's an older.
Yeah. Well, no.
No, that's
Her
their
son is
is
their nephew.
nephew.
Hmm.
That's always funny to me.
And it
Right.
sounds like he's older than
Than
them,
them, yeah. Yeah, because
possibly. But I
since
mean, she is 25 and the next one is 9. So
right, true.
that's, I guess that's, oh no.
But I'm still confused at how
No,
old
he
this
would be, he would probably be younger
younger,
than
yeah.
them.
So just because you decided to not allow your child to indulge in that sort of Christmas type magic doesn't mean you have to take it away from your siblings. I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you trying to say, "Ugh, I'm not going to have my son lie." That's you looking out for your son, but these two are your mom's, they're her children, you know, regardless of, so she's looking out for them. I don't see what
Hmm.
the problem is to say, "Hey, don't talk about it at all." Like, if you don't feel comfortable lying about it and saying, "No, yeah, he's real," then just don't talk about it. Just shrug your shoulders, walk away, just don't even think about it. Like, but yeah, that's why I don't think I don't think it's she's the asshole at all in this thing.
I I personally do not think, because I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's entitled to spend Christmas with you. You know, eh, you don't have to be over here for Christmas if that's how you finna act. Like, if you can't do this for me, there's only maybe one or two more Christmases left of this naturally anyway. So if you can't make it through one or two more Christmases, then girl, spend that Christmas with your child at your house. And I will make sure that you get the gifts that I have gotten y'all, for Christmas. But you're not finna come over here and ruin my Christmas with these kids because you raising Satan. You know what? I'm not gonna give that child that. He don't deserve that. He don't deserve that because you raising that child not to believe in Santa Claus, which
Hmm.
is that's a whole nother conversation for another day. I ain't finna knock nobody parents and but child like. Come
Be
on now.
because regardless of how old you are, maybe the 9-year-old has probably already suspected, they've probably heard from school, they have an idea,
Mm.
but like the
Because 9 is a
7-year-old,
little old.
yeah, not 7-year-old, like they're still in very
Mm-hmm.
much in that Christmas magic. And I remember, I feel like that's probably around the age that I found out the truth.
Mm-hmm. I feel like 7 is right at the 7 is the cusp of you finding out. 7 and 8.
Yes. But the way I found out, so here's my little story, my little side story
Mm.
on this one, because we tend to remember things differently, and I'm just going to go with the memory I have of it, because my brother insists that it happened in Washington State, but I remember it happening here. So regardless of what his side of the story is, the gist of it is somehow, some way, the conversation got brought up, and my brother looked at me. He was like, Santa Claus isn't real. Oh, I should preface this. Anybody who's got kids like watching this or listening to this is, I'm so sorry.
Turn the volume down.
Turn the
Turn
volume
it
down.
down.
We speaking some truth here. He was like, Santa Claus isn't real, and I was like, yes, he is. He's real. He's absolutely real. He was like, no. He was like, come here. He brought me into my mom's room. He opened up the closet. He said, look, your presents are going to be purple. My presents are going to be the red ones. Watch. And I looked at all those presents. I was like, no, no, that's not true. That's not true. Fast forward to Christmas Day. All the presents are out. All of them are either purple or red. My mom comes around the corner. She's like, okay, Crystal. She was like, Santa got you the purple presents. I'm pretty sure I just burst into tears.
Oh no.
It was
Oh
ruined. So to
no.
find out that way, like, I have terrible memory. I do. I have terrible memory, but it's one of the things I do remember happening. It was
Mm.
traumatizing.
Oh my
I should have been
God.
sat. I should have been able to be sat down by my loved one and explained gently.
I think I low key may have been the one that ruined it for my siblings.
Of course you were.
Because
The
I
older
think I would.
sibling. Look at this little the older sibling with her younger you and your mine.
But see, mine was innocent though. Mine was kind of innocent because I didn't tell them. It was it was like I was like on the cusp of figuring out like, hey, something
Mhm.
something is up here. And we were always at my grandparents' house for Christmas. Um, and all my aunts and uncles would bring their gifts to my grandparents because they had different sheds and things. So they would put the gifts in totes in the shed. So like they were very, very good at keeping the magic alive. Because
Yeah.
even if you looked in the shed, you wouldn't see anything. You just see a bunch of totes that were always in there. So it was one year we got in the bed and they didn't wait long enough for us to go to sleep. So we heard everybody go outside. And I was like, yo, let's get up. Let's look outside and see what's going on. Like something is going on out there. Like I just know it. Like maybe it's Santa Claus. Da, 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 da. We looked out that window and saw them unloading all the gifts.
You're
And
probably
I was
sitting there
like,
like,
oh, yeah. We
and
were
then look at
all
your
at the
siblings like,
window.
oh.
We were all at the and that next Christmas, that next morning at Christmas, we were all like, thank you, Santa. Knowing good and damn well where them gifts came from. And they realized and they were like, okay, so y'all know. We were like, yeah, yeah, girl, the jig is up. Sorry. Like, so we did it to ourselves,
We were
thinking we was
being
finna catch Santa.
that's what happens when you're nosy.
Eh, Listen here, for the children who we have already ruined Christmas for.
We're so
This is what
sorry.
happens when you listen to mommy and daddy's podcasts. Now Christmas is ruined. How you feel?
Hmm.
Hmm?
But yes, so back to the original poster.
Yeah,
I don't know if maybe she just doesn't remember it or what, but there is
yeah,
something really special when you're a child and you believe in Santa Claus and all that stuff, and it
yeah.
it's a exciting time. It's a special time, like, and it's so
Yes.
so short. It's so short in the grand
Mm-hmm.
scheme of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just whatever your feelings are, while this is your son, these are also your siblings. Like, I just don't see why you can't show a little bit
Yeah.
more kindness to
And
what
empathy.
yeah, and empathy um towards that. So, in order to
Yeah.
ultimately be able to, because for such this, it's such a little request, such a small request that your mom is asking. Just don't tell them about it. That's all she's saying. And then you all can
Yeah.
have Christmas together. You're choosing to alienate yourself and your son from your family
Hmm.
on Christmas, not the assholes who
And I
vote.
think they surprisingly, in this thread, they actually did find the original poster to be the asshole. Which surprised me. And I was scrolling through the comments because I was like, well, let me see what the foundation for this is. Like, how
Right.
is she the asshole? But a lot of people based it on religion, saying that um what if your kid run across other kids in school who are Jewish or Buddhist or were raised atheist or da, 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 whatever, what is how are they going to interact with those kids and
But
da, da, da,
that's
da.
not
So
what
why would you
she's
put this
talking
on your
about.
daughter? And there it is, and there it is for me, right? I kind of see where they're coming from because they're like, well, they're gonna find out anyway, but they haven't found out yet. So
Right.
why would you make that leap to religion to be like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? And then people are talking about, oh, Christian parents are, somebody was giving an example from their childhood where I guess they are Jewish,
Mhm.
and the Christian parents were mad at their parents for not participating in the whole Santa is real
Mhm.
stuff with the school and all that stuff. So there seems to be some Santa resentment out there, for people who didn't grow up with that tradition.
Right.
My wife didn't grow up with that. And she and I have had the conversation, about what our child is going to experience this year for Christmas, because she's at that age where it's
Mhm.
still possible. And this is the first year where she's going to be like aware enough,
Mhm.
for it. So even we've had that conversation where she like, like we ain't doing that Santa shit. I'm like, hey, player.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying, but like I said, this is not what the issue is. I get the
Mm,
feeling it's like if they're to find out at school, that's one thing that's out of your control. You can't control another family's religion,
mm-hmm.
but in this household where you're coming into my house to celebrate Christmas with us, that's something you can control, especially since you're my child trying to not trying to ruin it, but like potentially ruin it when you don't have to. I guess that's where I'm trying to come from. I don't
Mm,
think, it's I don't think you have to practice like yeah, we grew up Christian, but like we don't practice the religion or anything like that.
yeah.
So I'm not saying that maybe her mom is Christian and maybe she doesn't practice it or whatever, but whatever the situation is, like at the end of the day, you're coming into your mother's house where your siblings are at,
Yeah.
and you're trying to say, "Ugh, well, my son isn't gonna lie to them or whatever." Like I, I just think you're creating issues that where there doesn't need to be. So
Exactly.
you have every right to say that. You have every right to be like, my son's not going to lie to them. Great. But your mother has every right to say, well, then you're not going to come over and ruin this for them,
Mm-hmm.
because that's something she can't control. She's not going to be able to do it at school. They're bound to find out. And that's usually where kids find out is at school. But in
Exactly.
this household, unless I sit them down, if I don't want them to know, I don't want them to know. It's my household.
It's gonna
Like,
be Santa Central around here
right.
until I say it's time for
Right,
them
exactly.
to know.
Because it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
the same thing when the 9-year-old finds out. I guarantee you the mom's going to say, "Don't tell your younger sibling. Give them another couple
Mm-hmm.
years."
Yep.
He's going to be
Yep.
in this, so it's not like it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I stand by it. I say not the asshole.
Sensational. Now, Crystal, you got one more for us.
I do, and it's
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite topics. This is a petty revenge topic. And the reason why I chose this one because it's actually it's not going to go the way you think. I'll give you that little hint. It's not going to go the
Oh,
way you think.
okay.
So
I'm
I'm
excited
just
for
gonna
this.
get right into it.
Hmm.
So this one says Christmas pettiness that kept on giving. This is a story about my mom and the absolute depths of pettiness she could sink to. Growing up, we could never put lights on our Christmas tree. My parents would always say it was a fire hazard and would recount a story about one of their first Christmases together when their tree caught fire. Apparently, my dad had fallen asleep on the couch and was woken up to the kitchen and living room filled with smoke. He woke up my mom and got her and the dog out of the house, then ran back inside to check things out. He came out a few minutes later with the tree wrapped in a blanket and threw it into a snowbank, saying it caught on fire. Ever since then, they had no lights on the tree rule to prevent a repeat occurrence. So, my whole life, we never put lights on the tree, despite nearly everyone else we knew, including both sets of grandparents, putting lights on their trees. I'd occasionally question my parents about it and would always get the same fire hazard story. My mom did go to some lengths to make up for it, though, with a lot of colorful glass balls that would catch the light as well as other reflective ornaments. Anyway, years pass, and I'm now an adult. One year, I'm talking to my mom, and the tree fire story comes up. She chuckles and asks if I'd like to hear the real story. Turns out that that night, many years ago, the tree did catch fire. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Turns out that night, many years ago, the tree did not catch fire. What actually happened was my dad decided to fix himself something on the stove late at night. He fell asleep on the couch with the pan still on the hot burner, and it eventually began to smoke, waking him up. After he got my mom out of the house and realized what caused the smoke, rather than take the tongue lashing and the ruined pan and irresponsible stove use, he decided to pin the blame on the tree. A few theatrics later, and he thinks he gotten away with it. He even brought the burnt tree back inside the next day, saying it must not have burnt much because it still looked all right. He might have pulled it off too, had he done more than just throw the ruined pan into the kitchen trash can. My mom found it in the trash the very next day and put two and two together pretty quickly. She could have nailed him to the wall right then and there, but she decided to play the long game and didn't say a word. See, it turns out she never cared that much about lights on the tree. It was my dad that really liked them. So, next year and every year thereafter, when they were decorating the tree and he'd go to put the lights on it, she'd remind him that they couldn't put the lights on the tree because of that time it caught fire. I don't think she ever intended for this to be a long running thing, but my dad was stubborn to a fault and never admitted it was really the pan. So every year she kept his lie going, knowing he was the one paying for it. She did eventually tell him she knew the truth some 30 years later. He had developed cancer, and it was his last Christmas. So he decided to come clean. He just laughed and laughed about it. She gave him the option to do lights on the tree that year, but by then they had had more years without it lit tree than with, and he had grown to prefer it that way. Always without the decoration. Merry Christmas.
Now, why would you do that to us? Why would you do that? You trying to get us look, because we both about to get teary eyed in here. Are you kidding
Look,
me?
I'm such an emotional person. Like I'm the one who's gonna cry at those SPCA dogs with Sarah McLachlan singing in the background. So that last line, I'm like, I'm getting
Not in
so
the eyes
choked
of the
up.
angel. Not the in the eyes of the angels music playing in the back. If we wouldn't get copyright striked, I would put that music in the background right now.
Yeah, that last
Oh,
paragraph,
Crystal.
I'm like, keep it
Ooh,
together, get the words out. You're getting so choked up.
my God. Because these eyes over here got the water, and I was like, hey, now, hey.
Because I
You're
was
on
like, when
camera,
I
buddy.
read it, I was like, oh my God. And the more I got into it, I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. That's such a long way.
Because
And then I got to there and I was like, oh my God.
I was about to go in. Look, I was about to read both of their asses. Oh my God. Well, that
So,
was
like I said,
that was sweet.
it was. It's so wholesome. They 30 years. They seem to have had a good relationship, a good marriage.
Because if
The
you kept
fact
up
that
that petty
she
lie for 30 years, lady, how could it have been?
and it
Okay.
was, I can imagine every year, like, and I'm sure at some point he just resigned to the fact that he was just never gonna have lights on the tree and was just like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for those first couple years, every time he tried to bring out those lights and she was like, I know she was sitting there like, is this gonna be the year you're gonna say something? And he's probably sitting
Okay.
there like, I'm not gonna fucking say anything. We're just never gonna tree.
Like, sir, come on now. You could have just fessed up to the fact. Like, you gonna spend the rest of your life without lights on the tree every Christmas? You just gonna let this be? Like, you can't just say, you know what, lady, I almost burnt the house down. Okay, I haven't done it in 25 years since. Okay, I did it. It's over. Like,
I feel like after a couple years, you could have said, you know, honey, it wasn't the tree. I fell asleep. It was cooking. Like, can we please put the tree? You know, and it would have been over with. But no, they were both stubborn. They were both stubborn people. And
listen, my child has fallen off the bed because I fell asleep. I fessed up immediately. I was like, hey, look, dog, I was tired. I fell asleep. Next thing I know, doom, she on the floor. So that's the type of person I am. I'm not, if it's something simple and everything is okay, like, I'm not finna lie to you about that. Like, why would I? That's more work that I have to do. And I don't need no more work than I already have on my plate every day. So we not finna do this. I'm finna tell you, you either finna get mad at me or you not. We finna get over it and we finna move on. Because everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm not finna be the only one in this house that's gonna fuck something up. So we just gonna wait your turn and I'm gonna tag your ass when it's time. And that's finna be it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But shout out to them.
Yes. And it's really, you know, in the grand scheme of things, the fact that when she did tell him and he just laughed about it and he still preferred it without it, like, obviously that's a long running memory that they're always going to be able to tell, that little story that lasted their whole marriage,
the whole thing.
And they both got to, you know, resolve it, and ultimately it ended up being kind of a weird tradition for them not to have lights on their tree. So
knowing Crystal and how petty she is,
that would have been me.
Crystal would have been in that sick bed and the beep would have been beep, beep, beep. And her husband would have been like, I knew the whole time. And Crystal would have been like, you ruined my life. Like, you wouldn't have let it go. You would have been like, I wish I could have seen one Christmas light.
If only I could have seen one more Christmas light.
My God.
And I never would have lied about it in the first place. So it would have had to be reversed. I would have been sitting there by his deathbed like, oh, you want a Christmas light? Well, honey, we don't want to risk anything.
Bet you wish you would have told me the truth, huh? Unplugged. Listen, I'm trying to bring some levity to this, okay? Because I'm not finna cry at the end of this episode.
But yes,
that was very sweet.
It was.
That was right in the Christmas spirit, and I hope, you know, Crystal got some other people verklempt, and if she did, please let us know in the comment sections. If your eyes started to leak like ours, let us know,
so we don't feel alone.
Exactly. So we don't feel alone.
I know you could hear it in my voice. I was like,
listen, because I heard it.
I heard it. Trying to get it together. I just need to read this very last one.
That little part in your throat that get tight when you about to cry, it started to squeeze up on me, and I was like, hey. Chill out. We not doing all that tonight.
So, but to the original storyteller, I hope this is a story that ends up ultimately bringing you guys comfort during the Christmas season. She actually this was actually only posted 15 days ago. So I'm thinking that it doesn't say when this happened. So, it could have been a few years by now that has passed, but
Hmm.
I'm wishing that family all the best this
Oh
Christmas
yeah, the
season.
merriest of Christmas, and we
Hmm.
are also wishing you all the merriest of Christmases, or whatever holiday you
Yes.
celebrate.
And or happy holidays in general.
Exactly, but specifically, Merry Christmas to everybody who observes. We hope that you get everything on your Christmas wish list. You deserve it. This has been a year of ups and downs for literally everybody.
Hmm.
Like, I know a lot of people who have had the best of times and the worst of times this year, and I think it's really important, especially this time of the year, to really just be still, you know, take in everything that's happening around you. Because I know a lot of us get into, the rat race of it all, just trying to scrape and survive. But I think around this time when we have, even if it's a limited amount of time, you still have a little time to just really sit, reflect, be grateful for what you do have, be grateful for the fact that you're still here and the people that, you have around you are still here. Because this time of the year is very, very hard for a lot of people. I recently had, an exam for Danish language. And, one of the prompts that I had to write about was about volunteering and stuff. And, given the pros and cons of, volunteer work for a city or something like that. And, in that paper, I discussed, being the holiday season, I think it's really important to give something, anything you have, clothes, toys, your time, whatever you have, whatever your currency is, because it's different for everybody. Um, whether it be material things, time, anything like that, to give it to somebody because somebody needs it. And I think that's the thing that gets me around Christmas time, because I can't, having the abundance of family, the abundance of love, that I'm fortunate to have, whether it be, the family I'm married into, or, my blood family. It really is a blessing. And a lot of people don't have that. And, sometimes I'll just be washing dishes, or sometimes I'll be in the shower and I really get to thinking about that. And it really, really breaks my heart. Like, I can't imagine spending this time of the year alone, or, you know, um, lacking, that part of the holiday season. So if there's somebody in your life that doesn't really have family around them, or, they're going to be kind of lonely the holiday season, you don't necessarily have to invite them to your family table, but reach out to them, tell them, hey, do you want to go do something? Do you want to go get a bite to eat? Can I bring you a casserole or something? You want to watch a movie, or, just reach out to people and give them that little thing that they're missing, even if it's just for a day.
Yep.
I think that's really, 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 really important that people don't feel alone during this time.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And to pivot on that, a little PSA to some partners out there, specifically husbands, because if anyone's on TikTok, you might have seen over the years a certain video that went viral a while ago, where the dad is filming, his stocking that's full of stuff, and his two children's stocking, which is full of stuff. And lo and behold, his wife's stocking is completely empty. And the video itself is trying to make light of it, like, oh, what happened? And she's sitting there with this awkward smile on her face, like, oh, I guess Santa forgot about me. This is your reminder, husbands. Your wife's stocking, your partner's stocking. That is your responsibility. If they are doing everything else, if they're the ones who are doing the decorating and the cooking, and they're the ones who are wrapping the presents and they're buying the presents, they're doing all of that stuff, your one job is to fill their stocking. Do not be that partner where your spouse is sitting next to you and their stuff is completely empty, or they're forced to fill their stocking themselves. Who wants to fill their own stocking? How depressing. When you're surrounded by family and you had to stuff your own stocking. Come on now. Be better. Be better.
Husbands, y'all, come on now. They call it sexy Santa for a reason. Okay, you. I'm trying to keep it PG.
I know. I'm like, where you going with this?
Look here. Ain't no coochie like holiday coochie. I'm just saying. You get her gone off of that eggnog, off of that Bailey's Irish cream. Off of that Irish cream.
We got it. Gonna try to get us canceled like 5 times on this podcast.
Listen, y'all, I'm cutting up. It's the last episode of the year. I'm cutting up.
It's true.
Okay,
it's true.
Listen, gentlemen, make sure that your significant others, because I don't know, I don't want to say y'all wives or girlfriends,
right?
Your significant others, because there's what they say, the ladies, the thadies and the gaydies, the ladies, the gaydies and the thadies. I don't know. Anyway, make sure that your person has what they need this holiday season. Treat them right if they didn't treated you right all year. And a lot of y'all get a lot more than you deserve, to be honest. So make sure they are kept this holiday season, specifically the ones who are taking care of all the gifts for the kids, making sure everybody finna be fed, making sure, y'all going to your raggedy ass parents' house half the day, and then she get the end of the night with her parent or their parents. Make sure y'all do right by y'all people this holiday season. Don't leave them hanging.
Agreed.
I wish I would do my wife like that. I would get cussed out right there on the spot. Let her shit be empty. Oh, it's a wrap for me. You might as well put me under the house. Like,
see, it would have been silence for me. I wouldn't even bother to cuss your ass. You would know, but I would be straight up like, you'd be like, hey, honey, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's so cute. Yeah, you go play with that.
You would never have another Christmas again messing with Kristen. This would be your last Christmas. Okay, she ain't gonna kill you or nothing, but you ain't never get nothing from her again until you make it right. Don't even worry about it, sweetheart.
It's gonna be a very expensive apology.
Oh, I know that's right. Well, thank y'all for being here with us this year, 2023. This is what, the 16th episode. So since September, that's y'all 3 months we have been together on this ride. It has been so much fun for me. What about you, Crystal?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been wild to see, how our audience has grown, to see how we've grown. And it's, like I said, it's been such a short amount of time in the grand scheme of things. So I'm really excited for this next year for all of us.
I'm so excited. We have tentative plans for the next year. Things may look a little different starting in the new year. You never know.
You never know.
We things might sound a little different. The pacing and what the content we cover on the show may be different. You'll just have to tune in to find out, because Crystal and I, we're always willing to evolve. We're always willing to reshape this show to make it what you all want to hear. So you have to let us know what you want to hear. And that is by hitting us up on all of our socials. So if you want to give us a letter to let us know how much you appreciate the show, if you want to let us know how much you cried when Crystal gave us that last story, if you want to let us know, what you wish for Christmas, or what you got for Christmas, or what your New Year's resolutions are, we would love to hear it. And you can send us a letter and send that to teaandcrystal@gmail.com. That's teaandcrystal@gmail.com. Also, if you have any family drama that happens over the holiday break, we would love to hear it. So you can also send that to that address, and we will be sure to address that in the new year. Also, catch us on YouTube if you want to see our faces, how we react to these stories. If you want to see Crystal and I both almost shed a tear at the same exact time during this episode, make sure you go over there on the YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search Tea and Crystal Podcast. Crystal does a very good job of posting our shorts over there that gives you a sneak peek at the coming week's episodes, and they be tearing them comment sections up. So if you want to be part of the dialogue, make sure you go over there, get in them comment sections on our videos too. Make sure you leave us a like, make sure you comment, subscribe, and put on the notification bell for when we post. We post every Friday for those of you listening. Remember that in the new year. Go over and find us on the TikTok. The TikTok be TikTok, and Crystal was giving me an update, and y'all are tick and talking over there. So our shorts are posted over there as well. Go over there and get in them comment sections. Get to drag out fighting with the people in the comment sections. It is a Wang Dang Doodle over there. Facebook. Please go over to the Facebook. If you don't go nowhere else, baby, go over there to the Facebook. Our Facebook page be Facebooking. It is such a good time over there. We post our reels. People be in them comment sections going, y'all be going in them comment sections, and we do a lot of replying over there. We reply to a lot of people. We have conversations, whole threads of conversations. We are at 1,500 followers over there on Facebook in just a couple of months that we have been live with our podcast, and we are so appreciative of all 1,500 of you. We truly appreciate everybody who shares our content over there on the Facebook. So please continue to view it, share it, like it, comment it, and follow us over there on the Facebook page. We really appreciate it. Also on the Instagram is growing. The community is growing. Go to Instagram. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you watch the reels. People are also over there in the comment sections. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share it with your friends. It's very easy to share stuff on Instagram. And please go over there and be part of the community. We really appreciate everyone who has and everyone who will going forward. Just to give you all an update, we will be back in the new year. Mark it on your calendars. Friday, January 12th, we will be returning. The Tea and Crystals podcast will be back with a brand new episode. We finna be talking about something, and it's finna be good. So make sure that you're tuned in. I'm very much looking forward to seeing you all in the new year. With new things to talk about, new experiences. We'll recap our holiday season. Crystal and I have some plans together, so we will see how all that goes over the holiday season. Crystal, is there anything that you want to add to the people before we get up out of here for the last time this year?
No, I think I've pretty much said all that I wanted to in terms of wishing them a happy holidays and best of all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, because I don't think we'll see you guys till then either. So
That's
yeah, be
right.
safe. Enjoy this time. Just relax, have fun, and we'll see you in the new year.
All right, y'all. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho,
Merry
ho, and all that.
Christmas.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.